I never imagined that a single sentence could unravel everything I believed about my marriage. That night, I stepped into the living room expecting the familiar rhythm of our evenings. Soft conversation, the sound of dishes, the quiet comfort of routine. But instead, her voice cut through the calm like glass. "I don't need intimacy with you anymore." The words hung in the air, deliberate, sharp, unyielding. There was no confusion to hide behind, no room for denial. I didn't protest, didn't plead, didn't search for explanations. I simply stood still, letting the silence absorb what she'd said until it grew heavy between us. The room seemed colder then. Shadows deepened, stretching across the walls. My mind began rewinding months of subtle warnings I'd ignored. The way her eyes no longer searched for mine. How her laughter had turned distant. How comfort had quietly morphed into absence. Hearing her say it aloud made the loss real. The life we had built, the dreams we once shared, they suddenly felt fragile, like something already gone. I told her I needed air and stepped outside. The city lights greeted me, steady, distant, uncaring, yet strangely comforting. As I walked, I realized silence has its own language. It isn't surrender nor escape. It's understanding. That not everything broken can be healed with words. I didn't reach out that night, or the next. A week passed in stillness, the kind of silence neither of us had ever known. I moved through my routines as the world spun on, unchanged. While inside me, something was quietly settling. Her words lost their sting. I finally understood. She had made her decision, and now it was time for me to make mine. I felt no anger, no resentment, only calm acceptance. Her distance was her reflection, not my failure. On the 7th day, her message arrived. "Can we talk?" There was hesitation in her tone, the faint awareness that something between us had shifted. I didn't reply right away. I let her words sit there. A quiet reminder that peace often speaks louder than apologies. When I finally answered, I kept it simple. We need to be honest about what we want. I can't hold on to something that no longer exists. When we met again, I could see it in her. The tension, the unease, the silence where laughter used to live. What was once warmth had turned hollow and we both knew it. I stayed composed, listening more than speaking. My calmness only made her discomfort clearer, exposing the weight of what she had once said so easily. She tried to explain, to find reasons, or soften the blow. I nodded. But inside I had already moved beyond it. I wasn't there to argue or to change her mind. I was there to acknowledge the truth. That she no longer wanted this. And that I would no longer beg for something that didn't want to stay. The desperation that once held me was gone. So were the endless efforts to fix what could not be repaired. In their place stood clarity. The quiet strength of someone who finally knows his worth. She looked at me, regret flickering across her face. But I felt no victory, no satisfaction. Only reality, finally catching up to us both. When we parted, nothing was resolved, yet everything was different. I walked away calm, understanding that some lessons can only be learned through distance, and that some bridges, once burned, are never meant to be rebuilt. Her realization would come later. Mine had already arrived. In the stillness of my new life, I found peace I hadn't felt in years. Silence became my companion, distance my teacher, dignity my reward. She would remember that week I chose to let go, not with bitterness, but with the truth that some things, once shattered, are never meant to be repaired. And in that quiet acceptance, I found my freedom,